Yo, what's up everybody? We are back with another video. We're back in the shop. We got some awesome parts from our friends over at GSTP Autoparts. But first, you guys know the drill. If you guys could please smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. You guys can leave a comment down below. I don't care what it is. It super helps the channel out. Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man, it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all.
You guys know what it is. We're back in the shop. I'm sure you guys can already tell by the title and the thumbnail of this video that we're installing some polished control arms and subframe brace from our friends over at GSTP Autoparts. Now what we're doing this on is our 1993 Honda Del Sol. Now if you guys are new to the channel, I actually got this car way back in 2017. Now, when I got the car, it did not look like this or anything remotely like this. Now, funny story is I actually didn't even buy the car. I actually did a job for a customer. I put a transmission in a Volvo, and instead of a cash payment, he paid me with the title and the keys to this 93 Del Sol. I saw he had one. I always wanted one. So we shook hands and we did an awesome deal. In exchange, I got the Del Sol. Now, right before I was about completed with the job, the car had been stolen in the middle of the night. Luckily, we had enough outreach within the community to actually recover the car. It was found on the side of the road, ditched, stereo stolen, speaker stolen. Luckily, the key was still sitting in it, and a few parts under the hood were stolen, of course. So luckily, he was able to throw a battery in it, and he got it to the shop, gave me the keys and title, and that's okay, because I had plans to fully rebuild the car anyway. And guys, all I did with the car is started it up, I went down the road, I stopped, I did a big fat burnout, I drove it home, and I parked it in front of the house for about a year and a half. After some time, I finally wanted to get it going, and I had a nice D16 Z6 swap from my coupe to go in it, so I cleaned it all up, re-gasketed everything, kind of went through the motor. We went ahead and painted the engine bay, and long story short, we put everything brand new under the hood and got this thing to be a really nice, clean runner. Now, I detailed it inside and out to kind of bring it back to life. It was blue at the time, but by no means did it look great. It was a 20-foot car. I mean, it had chips, scratches, dents, dings, you name it, but it looked pretty clean, and it was a really, really fun car to drive. I fell in love with the car. During COVID, I actually decided to make a project out of it since the world was kind of shut down there. And luckily for auto shops, we were allowed to stay open. Of course, business was a little slower at the time, but I took the opportunity. I had a little time, and I used the night, late hours, and I was able to fully body work the car, customize the car, and we painted it in this Lamborghini lime green pearl paint. Now, I'll just quickly go over the car if you guys haven't seen it. On the inside, it is pretty darn stock. We keep it clean. We'd love to do a few more interior mods at some point. I'll go ahead and pop the hood. We went ahead and did a new windshield. I did these custom GT racing style fenders by yours truly. We also did this Subaru Impreza hood scoop. I fixed a front end collision Subaru Impreza, and this hood was wrecked until about here, and I went ahead and cut out the hood scoop, molded it in to the original Honda hood scoop, and it was a lot of work. Shout out to Mikey for giving me a hand finishing it up. We did a full satin black engine bay. At the time, when we did the engine and put up everything in it, originally I thought this car was gonna be camo. Now I was gonna do a nice camo paint job and actually clear coat it and everything. So at the time I was doing all the jams satin black. So all the jams have been done in satin black, and that was done ahead of the time. During COVID, I had some paint left over from another project that I decided not to do, and it was this Lamborghini paint. And so, you know what? We felt like it was fitting for this car, so we went ahead and used it. And honestly, guys, I don't think it could have been better any other color. So you can see there, we color matched the valve cover, and it's got an intake, headers, exhaust. We got aluminum radiator. This car has been wrecked before. I've put a core support on it and a whole new front end. We did a new bumper, the amber corners, clear side markers. We did these wheels, 15s, wrapped in Falcon tires. We tinted the glass 15% all the way around. We got this Mugen spoiler on the trunk lid. I went through like 2 or 3 spoilers trying to find the right one, and I finally got this Mugen spoiler. I did have to shim it a little bit to work, but we did get that on there, and I don't think it could have been any better, guys. I think it super fits the car. Without a spoiler, it's just super big. It's like a gigantic picnic table, and there's just needs to be something. So super happy with that. But anyways, guys, I kept it pretty clean. Like I said, it's got intake header exhaust. We do have full H&R coilovers on it, and that's lowered down. But besides that, she's pretty stock. She does have upgraded clutch, flywheel. She's got ARP head studs. The oil pan's tapped. We would love to turbocharge this at some point here on the channel with you guys. So leave a comment down below if you guys would like to see more Del Sol content and would like to see us turbo this car. Now, if we do turbo this car, we're going to utilize that Subaru Impreza hood scoop. That's right, guys. We're going to do a top mount intercooler setup. We're going to keep it really, really simple. We want to be able to turbo this car in like one day. So leave a comment down below if you want to see that. I think it'd be absolutely awesome. This is a very, very fun car to drive despite it being a little underpowered. But with a turbo kit, this thing would be an absolute blast. Now, enough with the small talk. Let's go over the parts that we got from our friends over at GSTP Autoparts. And first, if you guys are interested in any of the parts here that we're installing today, or any other parts that may be more fitting for your ride or your build, make sure to use our link down in the description of this video below and our discount code NITRO at checkout. Save yourself 5%. Who doesn't want to save money? All right, guys, here she is. You can see here in the big brown box. I wasn't even sure what it was, so I got a little carried away earlier this week, and I sliced it open and realized I knew what it was. But anyways, guys, inside this box, there are several other boxes, and we're going to go ahead and pull them all out. And it looks like just 3 boxes. There we go. Now, bear with me. I'm doing this one-handed, and we're going to go ahead and see what's in this longer box. And oh, there she is, guys. Really nice, really heavy duty. That is a nice thick piece. I think that's pretty darn cool. I think it's going to go that way. Maybe it goes this way. I don't know. We'll figure it out together. In the next box, there is our looks like the subframe brace. So maybe this is the subframe brace. This is the tie bar. And yeah, holy smokes, look at that, guys. That is a really, really nice piece. I mean, look at the machined threads there. The holes, super, super nice. Absolutely love the polished finish. It looks like we got some hardware here in a little bit of a smaller box. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way, and we'll open up this box. And yes, that's what I thought it was, guys. We got ourselves some beautiful control arms. Looks like they're sealed up here in plastic, so we'll have to slice that open. Got some nice bushings already pressed in there, threaded holes. Guys, this is absolutely awesome. We got it all unboxed here. Let's go over it one more time. This looks to be the subframe brace itself. Looks like we got some sort of tie bar. I'm not really exactly sure how this is all going to install. It doesn't really come with any instructions, but there's probably a lot of information on the internet, maybe a picture. And honestly, guys, it's pretty self-explanatory once you get under there. You guys will see. So I'm sure we'll figure out exactly where that goes. We got our 2 control arms, left, right. Not sure if they're upside down. Does look like you can put either one on either side. And we got some little mounting brackets here. We got nice stainless bolts with Allen heads. Like I said, there's not a lot of bolts to this, so you guys can see it shouldn't be too complicated. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna lift the Del Sol up here on the lift, and we'll see how long this takes.
One eternity later.
About time. All right, guys, don't judge me. She has been a daily driver for quite some years. And honestly, guys, I rarely even drive this car anymore. I haven't really driven this car maybe a few times in the last couple of years, but I've pretty much donated this car to become content here for the channel. And guys, with your guys' help, we can keep doing stuff here to the Del Sol here on the channel. So if you guys can, please click the like button on this video. It does help the channel out. Drop a comment down below. We don't care what it is. It just helps this video. And before we get started here on the install today, you guys know what we have to do. That's right. We got to go into track mode. Let's go. So years ago, when I painted the car, I decided to throw some coilovers in it. And at the time, I had broken a control arm bolt in the original control arm. Now, that does happen pretty easily. These cars are over 30 years old. It actually has collector plates old. It doesn't even need tabs anymore. So it is a classic vehicle. So we broke some bolts off here in the control arms. It was really unfortunate. And luckily, a friend down the road had some used control arms, and they were already billet red ones. They were in pretty rough shape. Honestly, guys, they've worked all these years. They've been great. But red was really never a color that was supposed to go on the car. So I never really intended to put those on there. It just kind of happened. And so what we're going to do today is give this thing a whole new, fresh look. And I think it's going to look really, really awesome. Now, the first thing I like to do when I'm working underneath the vehicle, whether it's suspension, exhaust, anything else like that, I like to go ahead and grab myself some penetrating oil like this PB blaster. And I like to come in and spray any of the bolts, any of the threaded locations that I can. And this soaks pretty darn quick. If I can, I try to do it like the day before, but we didn't have the extra time. These have been out before fairly recently in recent years, so I have a feeling they'll come out for us pretty easy. But I'm still gonna go ahead and spray them down with this. So we're just gonna soak them like that. I just like to soak both sides. You can't really go wrong. And like I said, ooh, that one's gonna be a little bit harder to get to. And this stuff dries, so don't worry about it getting all wet. And you can wipe it off if you need to. But we're gonna go ahead and just soak all these joints and bushings. Now, I also noticed that there's some additional holes here in the subframe here, and they do look threaded. So I went ahead and blew them out with compressed air because there was a lot of dirt and buildup in there. I'm gonna go ahead and squirt a little oil in each one of those threads. I'm not sure if we're gonna have to utilize any of these, but just in case, we'll at least have them soaking. I do have a thread chasing set, so if we have to, we can go ahead and run a thread chaser through those and clean up those threads. And even though we have all this additional lighting here in the shop, as soon as you lift the car up, you can't see anything. So go ahead and pick yourself up a nice work light, guys. It is nice to have a work light. Make sure you keep it on the charger whenever not in use. And we have a stream light here from our friends over at Matco Tools. It has this magnet and this hook here on the bottom, and it's a pretty cool little light. So we'll go ahead and utilize the tow hook here. So now we can see we got plenty of light, hands free. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna start it off by breaking loose all these bolts. Now, they're 14 millimeter, so use a wrench, a ratchet, socket, impact, whatever you need to use. I'm gonna go ahead and probably just use some hand tools here. I think this is a pretty simple job. We'll just keep it simple. And one last thing I wanted to mention before we get started here is it's probably gonna be a good idea to go ahead and just remove the rear wheels. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our impact, and we're gonna go ahead and break these lug nuts loose with our tuner lug key and get these out of the way. That's gonna help us kind of lift the suspension a little bit and get the holes lined up where we need them when we're putting in our new control arms. Let's get to work.
The wind is blowing through her hair. We like to head out on the road, and you know we don't really care, cause we're just doing what we want.
All right, guys, it literally took me like 5 minutes. And you can see here, our control arms dropped right out. Old, crusty, and dirty. There's literally 6 bolts. One of them had nuts on the opposite side from the aftermarket coilovers. Honestly, guys, all I did was break them loose with a 14 millimeter ratchet. Once they were broken loose, I just put the socket on an impact, went ahead and just drove them right out, and I just pulled the control arm by hand really, really easily. So literally we have about 10 minutes involved so far in teardown, and we're ready to start assembling the new kit. All right, guys, I figured I'd save you guys some of the boredom doing the install here. So far, we have the subframe brace installed, and I'm just gonna show you guys. It's pretty self-explanatory. You really can't install it wrong. You can't install it backwards, can't install it upside down. It goes one way, and you can see there, we have the 2 bolts here going through. And if you look inside the subframe there, you can see the factory weld nuts. You can see the upper one and the lower one. And those are what we PB blasted earlier. Like I said, they were a little bit dirty, a little bit rusty. So don't be afraid to grab a chaser or just a bolt and run it through in and out a couple times with some penetrating oil, or better yet, some anti-seize. That is another thing. Whenever I'm working with like stainless hardware and stuff, I always use anti-seize, and especially on suspension components. So pick yourself up a little bottle of anti-seize. I do recommend putting some gloves on when you use it. You can see here, I've kind of coated the entire bolt and threads, and even the factory bolts too. These two bigger bolts are going to replace the big control arm bolt that goes through the subframe brace there. When I got this set, I wasn't aware that it was going to come with a tie bar. I thought it was just the two control arms and the subframe brace. And the only place this could go would be right here. And it's built exactly the same there. It's kind of steps down to drop into here. And I did see a picture online of somebody that actually installed it just like this. But we are just going to be running the subframe brace like that. But I guess it's pretty cool that they gave you the extra tie bar just in case you want to run that. Also, they do give you these supplied little brackets. Now, I do believe on some chassis, depending on the model, year, where it was made from, on the inside there where there's those factory weld nuts, if you just have holes, or if you don't have any holes at all, you will either A, have to drill them, or if you only have holes and no threads, no factory weld nuts on the inside, they give you this little bracket here that you can slide up there with your fingers, and that will supply the threads to go on the back side here to catch. So you do want to install the subframe brace first and leave the control arm installation for after. So like I said, we don't need these. There's no point of trying to double up. There's already weld nuts. It's already sandwiching the subframe plenty tight. So it does give you the option if you need, you can have these, or if something happened to your weld nuts, like they broke off, or if they rusted and you had to cut them off, grind them off, they do give you a nice little bracket that you can utilize. But definitely spray them, definitely coat your bolts and threads with anti-seize, chase the threads if you need, and that's gonna prevent any rust or corrosion or anything in the future. So if you ever have to take this apart again, you're gonna have not a problem getting this apart. So definitely recommend some good anti-seize lubricants for your hardware and your threads. Next up, guys, we're gonna go ahead and grab one of these control arms. Now it does appear that there is no difference between the left and the right. So we're gonna go ahead and just take this, and you can see here, once again, pretty self-explanatory. You got one hole, two holes, three holes. We're just gonna slide it up into place right like that, and we're gonna grab our hardware and feed it through. I got everything started. As you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and run these all down. Needed a little love there, holding the nut from the back side. Same thing. And we got an 8mm Allen head socket here. I already tightened these down, but I'm just gonna give them a couple of love taps with the impact. Make sure they're tight, and we're gonna go ahead and put that socket on our 3/8 ratchet, and we're gonna tighten everything by hand. Never trust your impacts, guys. Always come back and tighten things down by hand. Batteries do get weak, and they might sound like they're tightening up, but they're not tightening up. All right, guys, the verdict is in, and found out the hard way that you actually do use the tie bar. The tie bar does indeed go across the bottom there. Now, I found out if you don't use the crossbar, the bolt is a little long and it's not threaded enough, and it'll go in, but this won't compress tight here, and you'll have a little gap between your control arms and the subframe, and a little gap between the subframe brace and the subframe itself. So those bolts were too long. They weren't threaded enough. It wasn't actually tightening down all the way. And luckily I noticed it. Otherwise we would have a sloppy control arm. So I went ahead and backed the bolt out. I went ahead and just put the tie bar on. And like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess it does sandwich all together like that. I guess if you do want to run just the subframe brace, you will need shorter bolts, or bolts that are threaded a little bit longer. And there you guys have it. You can see there from the opposite side. But everything is tightened up. Final overview, let's take a look at it. I've wiped her all down. I got my greasy fingerprints off of it, and guys, it actually looks really, really good. I mean, it looks really, really tough. I mean, these cars are so dinky and small underneath, and now we just have a super, super tough look from underneath the car. That is gonna look absolutely awesome once it's back down on the ground. But yes, guys, you do actually use the tie bar, and you can see she's sandwiched nice and tight now. But yeah, guys, she's looking pretty darn good. It does look like you get some extra threaded portions there for like if you have a sway bar or something like that. But yeah, guys, this is pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. It would have definitely helped if there was like a little bit of a blueprint or a diagram to at least show you kind of how it does go together. But honestly, guys, there's only one way to put it together. And luckily, I kind of noticed that. And of course, you know, I thought maybe, you know, you wouldn't have to run the tie bar, but you do have an option. You just have to change your bolt. So it is optional. If you don't want to run the tie bar, you don't have to. You just have to make sure you get different bolts. Now, I may look into a spacer to put in between there to make it more solid so it's not kind of hollow in there. It should be okay, but remember, aluminum is soft. And it could over time wear. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on it. And speaking of wear, guys, I had no idea, but take a look at this control arm. I was driving around like that. Dude, it is completely out of whack. And look at the rest of them. They are wearing too. Now see the wear there on everything? Of course, things do wear over time. But what I did is I did put anti-seize between all the rubber and metal and all the bushings. Now, of course, over time, I'm sure it will wear off, but it might help a little bit of longevity and could help with potential squeaking or anything like that. But guys, let's go ahead and get this car down off the lift and get one more look at it on the ground. She's back down on the ground. We've moved the lift arms out of the way. Remember to torque your lug nuts, guys. You don't want a wheel coming off. It only takes a matter of seconds to torque your wheel. And guys, let's go ahead and get a good first look at it. And we're gonna see what she's gonna look like here. And we're gonna take the light just because it is a little dark in here. And wow, guys, that looks great under there. That really added some style to this car. That looks much better than those old crusty ones. Yes. I absolutely love them. They look great. Definitely toughened up the rear end of this Del Sol. And this is absolutely awesome. The tie bar is necessary on this kit, but you can get rid of it, but you're gonna wanna change the bolt because it's a little short as far as the threads go, and you'll run out of thread and it won't be completely tight. So you do have to look out for that. So make sure everything's tight, guys. Double check everything. It's honestly a pretty easy install. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you guys do want to see more Del Sol content or content like this, we do all sorts of stuff here on the channel. We have a pretty good variety, and we've formed an awesome family and a team over here on the Nitro Autolab YouTube channel. Don't hesitate. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you guys are interested in these parts, use our product link in the description of this video below. I'll also pin it down in the comments. Make sure you use that link. Use our discount code NITRO at checkout. Save yourself 5%. If you guys have other projects, make sure you check out their website. You got all sorts of stuff for all sorts of makes and models. If you guys can, please click the thumbs up button on this video. It super helps the channel out. Drop a comment down below. I don't care what it is. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me how much of an idiot I am because I thought we didn't need the tie bar. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.
Ooh, like LeBron, though, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't.